All right, guys, another deep dive video. I did one yesterday. Did you catch it? It was on Cecile Zarokian fragrances. So if you haven't caught it, I've got it linked in the info box. I also have a playlist for all of the deep dive videos I've done so far on the channel. There will be more as well, long form videos. You can just, play the video, do whatever you want, come back, hear about a fragrance, or, sit and watch all of the fragrances that I talk about. I've done some deep dives that are like over 3 hours long or about 3 hours long, but a lot of them are around an hour to 2 hours. And yesterday, like I said, I did one on Cecile Zarokian fragrances, and I featured two fragrances in that video that I'm going to discuss here today as well. We're talking about the house of Jovoy. Jovoy is a brand that I've really enjoyed, and it's been almost 11 years that I've known about the brand. Well, I've known about the brand longer, but I actually got to experience it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jovoy before I start talking about the brand. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how their bottles are changed now and everything. And then I've got like 19 or 20 fragrances from the brand that I'm going to talk to you about here today. I don't own everything, and the brand doesn't have too many fragrances. They've discontinued quite a few fragrances, and there's one exclusive fragrance here or limited edition that I'm going to talk to you about as well, or two limited editions. One limited edition is actually just a limited edition bottle. It exists in the original bottle, but it was on a trip I was on in 2014 to 2015. It was December 2014, and it was January 2015. I was in France. I traveled all over, and just before I arrived in Paris, I was in the Dijon area, in the Burgundy area, where there's great wine. So I arrived in Paris and went to Jovoy for the first time because it was like 2 years that I had gotten into the fragrance community, and everybody insisted that it was the best perfume shop in the world, niche fragrances galore. Yeah, I went in, but as I was arriving in Paris, Charlie Hebdo was happening. So I don't know if you guys know anything about, French politics. It was a really crazy day, actually. In fact, there was a protest happening several days later. I actually participated in, but that happened on the evening. I think it was a Friday that I was arriving, or Thursday maybe, and I had set out to go to Jovoy as soon as I arrived at the hotel, because I took a train from Dijon to Paris. And sure enough, I did. It was a bit weird in the air because of that terrorist attack that was at Charlie Hebdo. And I walked in for the first time to Jovoy, and Francois, the owner of the store, was there. Actually, he was the only associate in the store. I guess there was no associate running the store. And so he was the one that showed me. I said, I'm Sebastian, I'm fairly new, and, I worked for Saint Laurent, and yada, yada. One thing led to another. Francois just showed me the entire store, and also showed me for the first time this fantastic fragrance. So it was Psychedelique that he had spoken to me about and got me to smell that really got me excited about patchouli fragrances, because at that time I had already experienced a lot of amber fragrances, but not really heavy ones. And Psychedelique has become a favorite patchouli fragrance of mine. Really love that cakey, chocolatey, ambery, resinous effect against the earthiness of the patchouli. So that was the first time I had experienced Jovoy as a store and Jovoy as a brand. So if you guys don't know much about Jovoy as a brand and Jovoy as a store, it's a store, one of the best in the world, I would say. And it's near the Place Vendôme and near the Rue Saint-Honoré. And Rue Saint-Honoré is becoming Perfume Street. I started going there. I started traveling to France in 2006. So I usually took trips in the wintertime. I now take them other times of the year. So throughout the years, there's been perfume shop. There used to be a Penhaligon's there. It became a L'Artisan Parfumeur. There was an Ex Nihilo around the 2015. It was the first time I had heard about it on that street. But now there's so many perfume shops there, a lot. If you're visiting Paris, definitely go to Jovoy. Tell them Sebastian sent you. and also stroll down Rue Saint Honoré on both sides, and you'll see a lot of perfume shops. All of the niche brands have perfume shops there. And I believe when I was there in October, Maison Crivelli was opening, and so Matière Première is there now. So many brands. But let's get back to Jovoy. It was my first time experiencing, and I spent like 2 hours in that store learning all about niche brands. It was the first time I had discovered Nila Vermeer creations and so many brands. There's a lot of brands that are not there anymore, and there's obviously, they have to make room for new brands because some brands do not sell. So obviously, from when I first went to the store in 2015, January 2015, which is also when I first discovered Atelier des Ors. That's when I bought my first bottle of Lune Feline on my very first trip to Jovoy. So it was a great experience there, and I've come to love this brand a lot. So the brand has some really great fragrances. I would say Psychedelique, I would say Incident Diplomatique, Private Label, Remember Me are all really, really great fragrances. But let's talk a little bit about the new fragrance as well. A new fragrance from Jovoy called Halong Bay, which also comes in a new size and a new box. So previous to this, the last fragrance they launched was Aqua Memorabilis, which came in a box like this. Now, this was a 100 ml bottle box. Now it's a 75 ml. It's much more compact. And as you can see, this is the bottle now. And actually, I was a little bummed that they were downsizing the bottles. And obviously, I guess it's a timing thing that worked out great for them, because prices have been going up on fragrances because of certain reasons. And so I don't think they raised the prices on their fragrances, but now it's less juice, obviously, as a 75 ml bottle, and it's the same price approximately. Well, what do you guys think of the new bottle? Well, somebody commented just yesterday, I believe, and mentioned that they really love the size of the new bottle. They can actually fit it in their hand. So I can fit it, and I don't have the biggest hands. I can still fit it, but I think this is a bit more, you can hold on to it a bit more. This is a pretty wide bottle, so I think that's one of the reasons why the brand decided to redo their bottles, obviously. So it does come in a box like this. Yeah, so this is a little bit about Halong Bay as well. So this is the box. Let's put that in there. Halong Bay is created by Véronique Nyberg of Man, by the way. It's funny, when I was in the south of France for the show TFWA, I bumped into Véronique Nyberg, and we spoke a bit. I actually bumped into her a couple of times. But she did this new fragrance. It's a fragrance featuring mangoes. It's quite fruity and tropical, and also green. It comes off very green to me. And also for me, it's a bit creamy, milky, but I believe there's leather and some musky notes in there. So yeah, it's not my all-time favorite fragrance. Obviously, I have my favorites, which we'll get to. But I'm just showing you the presentation. And just also to let you know, if you are bummed about the fact that these bottles have gotten downsized, you search for the larger bottles, because this is for Aqua Memorabilis. So before it fit in like this, obviously, so like that, and right there. So yeah, it's a bummer that it got downsized. If there are old stock out there, get your bottles ASAP. I'm sure people are going to find out it's downsized. It's a smaller size, and they're going to want to. Sorry, I'm trying to put this box down here. Having a bit of a challenge. There's too much on the table. And I think once people realize that these bottle sizes are smaller, they're going to want to buy them, and then obviously there's not going to be any stock. So ZGO Perfumery carries the brand here in San Francisco. I'll link to their product as much as I can. While watching the video, you can actually click on the product and take advantage of buying their fragrances. And again, I don't know if they're completely out of stock with the 100 ml bottles, but I think the 75 ml bottles are just rolling out. So most likely the stores do have the 100 ml bottles still. One more thing I want to show you. I have a very limited edition Fire at Will bottle, and it's a 50 ml bottle in red. So the original Fire at Will is here. So it's on the side here, and with this red bottle, it's a gorgeous red bottle. Love it. It's a collector's item. But when I first started going to Jovoy, they used to have a collection of fragrances that were in red like this. Oh, it's got the Fire at Will on the side here too. They used to have like 3 fragrances that came in red bottles. And for the longest time, ZGO here also had these red bottles, but they don't have them anymore. So they're discontinued. And again, I have like, what, 19 or 20 fragrances here. So we'll go through them. There was actually one mistake here on the list as well. I reversed the fragrances, so I marked it up. But I actually decided to put all the names of the perfumers on here because there's some perfumers that I'm not too familiar with. Obviously, Jovoy works a lot with Vanina Muracciole, and so she's done quite a few fragrances, but there are other perfumers here as well. And I already mentioned Cécile Zorokian with Private Label and Remember Me. So those are done by Cécile Zorokian. So let's start with the first fragrance created by Marie Schnirer. This is 21 Conduit Street. So I did a full review of this in 2020 at the height of the pandemic. And I like it. It's got this fruitiness. It's got a lot of ambroxan. It's got some like there's a noise coming from somewhere. It's got like aromatic woods and spices here. It's quite sexy. It's fresh. I think it's got light fruits and it's got grapefruit touches. So I like it. It leans masculine for sure, but it's a nice, juicy, kind of citrusy, also musky, amber woody, ambroxany kind of a fragrance. Along the way, there's aromatics and other notes that are coming in. On skin, it's really pleasant. It's got good lingering power, but I wouldn't call this beastly. I wouldn't call it dense or deep. It's fresh mostly. And it's got a lot of like ambroxan, so it's got amber woody touches. And musky, it comes off musky, but I think the combination is great. This, if you're a fan of things like Tigar or Bulgari Tigar or Vibrato or Kajal 3, I think, any of those fragrances, you're going to like this one. It's got that kind of qualities for it. I don't think it smells very similar to Tigar, but it does have those touches. And I think what's giving me those touches is the fact that it's got ambroxan. Tigar has it as well. And it's got a lot of citruses and some aromatic spicy notes. It's a pleasant fragrance. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the 21 Conduit Street is the address for the Jovoy Mayfair store. So the Jovoy Mayfair store is 21 Conduit Street. I've been there several times when I go to London. But I don't think I did buy several fragrances or 1 or 2 fragrances there that I hadn't seen anywhere else. And actually, there's overlapping fragrances between that store and the Paris store. But there's also stuff at the Paris store that are not at the London store and vice versa. So if you're in London, visit that store. Tell them Sebastian sent you. I don't know the people or the folks at the London store as much as the Paris store. But that's what that fragrance is. Launched at the height of the pandemic. It's a nice freshie. And if you're looking for something a bit different than Tigar or something that you have that smells similar to Tigar, I think 21 Conduit Street will be perfect. So we've got a fragrance called Ambre Premier, created by Michele Saramito, which I am completely unfamiliar with. I think that's the only fragrance that she's done here. But it's a nice amber. It's the kind of ambers I like. It's resinous, it's vanillic, it's spicy, it's powdery. This one also has a bit of a substantial patchouli note, which actually makes for, a sexy experience, because I truly find patchouli to be super sexy. And Yeah, I think there's some slight booziness here. I think we're getting that from the patchouli, contrasted with those resinous ambery notes. So it's interesting also with Psychedelique, which is not created by the same perfumer. It's Jacques Fiori. With Psychedelique, I think the reverse has been done. So with Psychedelique, it's all patchouli with resins and vanillic notes and balsamic notes there to, assist the patchouli. With the Ambre Premier, it's the opposite. There's more resins and vanillic notes and amber notes and patchouli's there to kind of assist it along. But I feel like it's similar formulas, but the amount of the ingredients is different. What I mean? Because there's quite a bit of patchouli here, and I'm not saying this smells like a patchouli bomb because Psychedelique is the patchouli bomb, but I can pick up the patchouli quite prominently. It's still an amber fragrance, really resinous and ambery for sure. And it reminds you of the traditional amber fragrances out there, like some of the popular ones. You'll be reminded of Grand Soir. You'll be reminded of Ambre Perso and all these other amber fragrances. So check that out, Ambre Premier. Then we go into the fragrance Aqua Memorabilis. This came out, was it earlier this year or last year? It's come out most recently, before Halong Bay. That's the last fragrance that came out. So Aqua Memorabilis is a juicy citrus fragrance. It's a lot of citruses, and there's some spices in here. I was just thinking if it has any similarities to 21 Conduit Street. I guess the citruses might have some similarities, but this doesn't have the overdose of the ambroxan musky notes. So it's just a very juicy, because it's got mandarin tangerine like juicy citrusy notes. It's quite fresh, but beyond the juicy citrusy notes, it's giving me an orange juice effect, if that makes sense, which I quite like. But there's some spices behind it all to contrast against the juiciness of the citruses. It's a freshie, but it's not tart. It's not bergamot. It's not lemons. It's not lime. It's a sweet kind of citrus, which sometimes people don't like the tartness. You want something a sweeter citrus. This is what you would pull for. But there's enough contrast there. Even though I think it's dominating with the citrusy notes, there's spices there for sure. Quite a bit of spices against it. I think along the way there's woods, maybe some light amber when it's drying down. But for me, it's a freshie. So it's definitely something super fresh. So this fragrance was created by Vanina Muracciole. So Jovoy has two brands, by the way. Well, the founder of Jovoy has another brand called Jeroboam. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that brand, but that's another brand. And all of Jeroboam fragrances are done by or created by Vanina Muracciole. And we've got a bunch here as well with Jovoy. But I believe early on, there were other perfumers that were, creating the fragrances. Obviously, like Cécile Zarokian and who else? We've already spoken about Marie Schnirer, Michele Saramito. And then we've got Véronique Nyberg. This is the first time she's done a fragrance for Jovoy. Of course, we've got Jacques Fiori, and we'll talk about a few other perfumers along the way. But the next fragrance, I believe this is the one... This actually came out several fragrances ago. This is Fire at Will. So Fire at Will is a vanilla fragrance. Let me know if you guys like this. It's a delicious vanilla. It's soft and cozy, fluffy, a bit marshmallowy, kind of pillowy, like, just a gentle kind of, almost like cooking vanilla. So I would say the idea of Spirituous Double Vanille from Guerlain is there, but I don't get booziness here, whereas I do get booziness from the Spirituous Double Vanille. Whereas Spirituous Double Vanille reminds me of actual cooking, baking vanilla. This doesn't, but there are similarities because the Spirituous Double Vanille, as I said, has got the booziness, and this one doesn't. But this is more like a fluffy, kind of very cozy, enveloping kind of a delicious vanilla. It almost smells like you know how when you're cooking with booze, the booze evaporates eventually when it's heating up. So it's almost like here, it's kind of evaporated and all it's left, it's the vanillic qualities. But super cozy, super yummy, really delicious. Not super thick and dense either. It's just the right kind of fluffy, marshmallowy vanilla fragrance. So this is created by Vanina Muracciole. Let's talk about Halong Bay next. This is the latest fragrance in the new 75 ml bottle. So again, the caps are different. Honestly, I don't know how these are going to last, obviously, because they're now plasticky. These are kind of metallic metal. Since I leave them out of the box, and if I'm spraying around them, the actual perfume flies over and lands on, and it starts getting gunky. So before I shot this video, I had to clean all the caps. Yesterday when I did the Cécile Zarokin video, I hadn't done that because there was only 2, but I wanted to make sure I cleaned these ones for you guys. But some of the stains do not come off. So let's see how it goes with the new cap. But I do want to show you how beautifully red it is. I love that red. Kind of reminds me of the Louboutin red. And also the red was in the box, if you guys recall. It's in the box. Right there. I like that red, and I think they've been using that red. As I mentioned earlier, they had a collection of red bottles before. 3 of them, I believe there was 3. Anyway, so Halong Bay is created by Véronique Nyberg, a perfumer over at Men. She's done a lot of niche. I think she's also done some popular mass market offerings as well. But mango is not one of my all-time favorite notes, guys. This to me smells really, truly authentic. Like I used to live near mango trees when I was younger. We had a mango tree farm nearby. So some would fall and the smell is very distinct. I'm not the biggest fan of the mango fruit to eat, but I think they've captured it here, but they've captured the skin quite a bit. It's got a very green quality. And then also beyond that, the greenness, there's a pulpiness. Like the fruit itself is a bit pulpy. So you do get that here. I don't know how popular this will be. I don't know if mango is a trendy thing, but I believe this was inspired by the founder of Jovoy, Francois's time in Vietnam. I think it was Vietnam. So I think that's the inspiration. Let me know if you guys have sampled Halong Bay and what your thoughts are. Also, let me know what you guys think about the new bottle versus the old bottle. Remember, 100 ml in the older bottles, 75 ml in the newer bottles. So that's Halong Bay, created by Véronique Nyberg. Then we've got one of my favorites. It's a top 5 for sure. It's Incident Diplomatique. And this is created by Vanina Muracciole. I keep wanting to say Muracciole. Is it Muracciole? I think it's Muracciole. I think in Italian, if there's 2 C's, it's a ch. Is that correct? But this is super sexy. I love this. And it's a great fusion of patchouli and vetiver together. To me, I was the biggest fan of vetiver when I first started doing this. I've gotten bored of it because it becomes kind of one-dimensional. Here, it's nicely meshed with the patchouli, 2 earthy notes, but totally different smells. And the 2 together, explosive smell, I think. Really awesome. I've gotten compliments with this fragrance a lot when I used to wear it a lot. I've actually been stopped in the middle of a street at a crosswalk. Somebody yelling at me, asking me what I'm wearing. So those kind of compliments stay in your mind. But because it's like that was kind of rare for that to happen. But it's a super sexy scent. It's also got great projection, great sillage. And behind all these notes, there's also I think citrusy notes, orange. There's also some spices like nutmeg, I believe. So it's a really wonderful woody fragrance with some light freshness and spices. And it does lean masculine, but I think a woman can totally pull this off. It's just a great earthy, woody, grassy, a bit green, aromatic take on a fragrance. And I think they did such a great job. It smells super, super fantastic. I absolutely love it. I don't like a lot of woody fragrances because they tend to get boring, but this one, it's a great combo. It's really great because vetiver is a woody note. Patchouli is a woody note. Even though they're not woods, they're considered woods. They're more aromatic woody, but really, really great scent. One of the best, I think, in the niche world. Absolutely love Incident Diplomatique. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're a fan of that. I've got a whole slew of fragrances here that I got to move over. All right. Next, we're going to one that's probably not as popular. This is L'Art de la Guerre. Is that correct? Yeah. L'Art de la Guerre. Let me know who's gotten their nose on this one. This, to me, acts like a fougere. It's just a kind of a spicy, fresh fougere. But I think what I'm smelling here is Immortelle. I get two fragrances confused. There's L'Enfant Terrible. Wow, L'Enfant Terrible is super spicy. This one to me smells a bit more subdued. L'Art de la Guerre. It seems like an aromatic, spicy fragrance. I don't know if my bottle is just weak, but I've had that and I haven't used it. There was a time when a lot of Jovoy was at the discounters. I think I paid like, what, $75 for that. And it's been sitting because I bought several bottles. It has, you know, aromatic, spicy, woody touches, but it just doesn't do much for me. And this could also be discontinued. If the fragrance is like this, it's probably not a wow for people. It doesn't jump out, you know? Like this compared to Incident Diplomatique is night and day difference, you know? Incident Diplomatique is super sexy, but also louder. This seems kind of like you must get close to it to smell it. So I got to double check on that one. But another great one here that I used to wear quite a bit of, look at this. And this is the fig fragrance in the collection. It's called, this is a tough one, L'Arbre de la Connaissance. This is created by Marc Fanton d'Andon. Wow. This to me is, I love this. It's a green kind of overdose of the greenness, but slight fruitiness with a fig. This is a fig fragrance. Kind of similar theme or idea of Ichnusa from Perfume and Roma, or Memoir d'été, is that correct? From, where is the fragrance? I don't have it here. From it's actually in our kit, one of our kits. It's the Plume Impression, kind of similar to that fragrance. If you like fragrances that are kind of green and slightly fruity, pulpy, this might satisfy. It's a great one. I've worn quite a bit of it, but I felt like it had similarities to the Ichnusa from the Perfume and Roma and Memoir d'été from the house of Plume Impression. So that is actually part of our kit, Plume Impressions and Memoir d'été. Hold on one sec. I knew I was making a mistake. It's not Memoir d'été. I always, for some strange reason, Memoir Murmure d'été always confuses me. But yeah, the Plume Impression is called Murmure d'été. And so Murmure d'été reminds me a little bit of L'Arbre de la Connaissance. And it also reminds me a little bit of Ichnusa. I just think that it's the similar kind of fig that they're using. That's why there's similarities, but I think they're not identical. But as I was saying, the Murmure d'été is in our ScentClub Kit number 16. And if you haven't checked that kit out, please do. And also we have our latest kit, kit number 17, which is this right here. And this kit features these wonderful fragrances from Maître Parfumeur de Gantier. It's called Parfum de Habit. And we've got Chemin du Monde from the house of Nuit Nomade. And then we have Ethereal Soul from Reinvented. Really great kit, guys. It's perfect for autumn wear. I've got it linked in the info box. So that's the latest kit, number 17. And of course, as I said, number 16 kit is also available with Murmure d'été, which, as I said, reminds me of L'Arbre de la Connaissance from Jovoy. All right, so we've got, I Okay, the next one is called La Liturgie des Heures. Where is that? Here. This one's actually really quite good. This one is an incense fragrance, but it's got a lot of amber in it. And incense, amber is resins, so they work wonderfully together. In the end, it's quite a bit of amber, but it's also lots of like church incense. It is a really, really great one. There's slight booziness under there. Really wonderful the way it's done. I used to wear a lot of this one as well. This one's actually my bottle from probably like around 2016. Still smells good. Why does this one last? It's lasted, you know, almost 10 years. It's just the kind of notes that they're in here. They're not fresh notes. So resins, lots of resins here. And these notes can last. I mean, there are a lot of heavy bass notes. When you're like thinking, oh, is my fragrance gonna last? Is it gonna, go bad? You're gonna think about what the notes are in that fragrance. Is it a freshy? Is it citruses? Then you've got to think to worry about. Is it resins like La Liturgie des Heures? You don't have anything to worry about unless you leave it in such bad conditions. Yeah, it will turn eventually. But this has been kept in mild temperatures. In this room, it's around 65 to 68 degrees. And when I first bought it, it was at my house, which the temperature always fluctuated from cool to warmer. So, and it still lasted. And the smell is so good. I love it even more. It's a really great one. I guess you can say this is like one of those incense fragrances that's kind of sweetened up a little bit because there's a lot of amber and resins in there, but the sweeter resins. And I'm not saying this is like, let's say, the fragrance Royal Incense from what's the brand? I'm drawing a blank with that brand. Or even something like Baby Cat where they have vanilla against the incense. It's not like that. This is definitely an incense, but behind it, there's enough kind of sweeter resins to contrast it and give it more of an ambery experience, which makes for the fragrance to be much more enjoyable. I grew up Christian Orthodox, so incense has a lot of meaning for me. A lot. We used to light it in the house, but the frankincense, then obviously it's not the sweet resinous incense. So I used to love wearing just plain incense fragrances. I've kind of gotten tired of it because it reminds me of church. A lot familiar smell there with the church. So I like my incense to be sweetened up a little bit or contrasted a little bit so it's enjoyable a little bit more, if that makes sense. So the last fragrance, well, not the last fragrance, but the last in the L series is L'Enfant Terrible. And I already spoke about this a little bit. And this one and L'Art de la Guerre are two fragrances that I'm not too familiar with. I bought these two fragrances because I was building a collection of Jovoy fragrances. At one time, they had a bunch of stock had ended up at discounters, $75 to $79, $80, somewhere around there is when I bought these. But this one here, L'Enfant Terrible, is super sweaty smelling. There's a lot of cumin here, a lot. It's super, super spicy. But something behind it is pulpy. There's a bit of a pulpiness there. I can see why this is called L'Enfant Terrible. This is created by Jacques Fiori, who also did Psychedelique. But I know some of you might not like cumin. I absolutely love this. The way the cumin is popping, crackling against the pulpy fruitiness there, or something acting fruity but not super fruity. I love that. I love the smell of cumin. And a lot of people associate cumin with body odor. I mean, I can see that totally, but you've got to be able to separate body odor versus cumin because in the end it's a spice. And so that's what I've done here. It doesn't smell dirty, it just smells spicy, and I love that about it. But I can see why people's noses would trick them to thinking it's BO. That's a really good one. I hadn't thought about that. And compared the L'Enfant Terrible to L'Art de la Guerre, I much prefer the L'Enfant Terrible. L'Art de la Guerre seems kind of like subdued and it didn't have a major presence. But the L'Enfant Terrible, which I love the name, is got that cumin, and it's striking. It's jumping off the bottle, off the strip, and giving me excitement to my nose because I can really smell it. All right, let's move on to Les Jeux Sont Faits. I think that's how you say it. It's the most difficult one in the collection, I think. So I don't know who the perfumer on this one is. I get my information from a lot of the databases. So I double check and cross-reference. So the one database said Amélie Bourgeois did this. Another database said Dorothy Piot did it. So I don't know who did it. One of those two ladies, or maybe neither of those two ladies, but those are the two different perfumers I found listed for this fragrance. Now, when I was talking a lot about, I think it was Ambre, no, it was, what was it called? Pavillon Rouge. A lot of people were mentioning this one, and I hadn't really experienced with it. I hadn't, gotten experience with this fragrance. So I bought this to see what the similarities are to Pavillon Rouge from the same brand. They're so different. For me, Les Jeux Sont Faits is more like peppery spicy, and it's got boozy notes in there as well. But for some reason, the pepper kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. I eat spicy foods, but it's almost like I don't want to wear spicy, like peppery, spicy food. I mean, notes. It bothers me. Whereas it doesn't bother me when I'm eating it. It just bothers me in a perfume form. So I guess once you get past the pepper, there is something boozy back there, something ambery, definitely other spices, and perhaps, I don't know, did I say amber? Something ambery behind there. So I think I would like this fragrance. It's just the peppery spice. And I'm not talking about black pepper. I'm talking about chili pepper. I get a chili pepper spice in this. And that's what's kind of bothering me with this fragrance. So it leaves me in an unsettled space because it's almost like, I know some people have problems wearing gourmands. Some people say, oh, why would you want to smell like food? Well, I might have the same opinion about peppers. Why would I want to smell like peppers, even though I eat them? So that's what's crazy about this fragrance. So I haven't fully embraced the peppery notes. I used to hate black pepper too, but I love black pepper now. But I haven't embraced chili pepper in fragrances. And this one acts like major chili pepper here. Anyway, let me know if you're a fan of Les Jeux Sont Faits, and please excuse my pronunciation of that name. I am not French speaking. Even though my dad spoke French, his mom spoke French, and I was rebelling against learning it when I was young, and now I wish I learned it. But either way, let's talk about Musc Pallas next. Musc Pallas, I believe, came out before Aqua Memorabilis. This is a really soft, pillowy, musky fragrance. Here's one thing I'm going to say. It's created by Vanina Muracciole. But for some reason, there is a reminder of Pavillon Rouge in this. Almost like it's a similar DNA, but taken into the fluffy, musky direction. Beyond it, there's something kind of sweet, ambery, beyond all the musk that's in here. But it's a soft musk. It's not necessarily clean, although I wouldn't say it's dirty. But because of that smell I get that reminds me of Pavillon Rouge, I wouldn't say it's clean. I would find something clean more like Blanche or Color Premiere from Les Eaux Primordiales. Those are kind of clean, musky. This is, because it's got that, it's like almost like a fruit. I think there's a fruit in here, which I remember now. That's giving me a reminder of, a little bit of a reminder of Pavillon Rouge. That fruit is giving it like an ambery effect in the fragrance. But what do you guys think of Musc Pallas? I like it. I think it's more of an intimate fragrance. It's not a screamer. It's a musk. It's cozy. It's comfy. It's yeah, it's clean. It's not necessarily dirty. It's not like an animalic musk, but I think it's personal. It's not super loud. I think Musk Pallas also, I think is great with, if I can find it, layered with Fire at Will. The reason I say that is because Fire at Will is also fluffy, and you can add the fluffy musk to the fluffy vanilla. And also the Musk Pallas has that fruity, it's either peach or apricot. I think it's peach. So I think it would contrast really perfectly. So they're not super dense where they're going to clash, and there's just kind of fluffy and airy. So the airiness is going to complement one another and create a musky vanilla, slightly fruity vanilla. But let me know if you're a fan of Musk Pallas. Add a comment below. So we've got Pavillon Rouge next, but remember I said it's created by Marie Schnirer. So I've always felt like this is the niche take on something like Maison Margiela's Jazz Club. I have a problem with Jazz Club. I think it's one of the most dullest, most boring fragrances. I don't know if you guys think of that fragrance that way. I don't know, it's got a huge following, people that are into designer and almost like entry-level niche, because some people consider the Maison Margiela replica fragrances to be like entry-level niche style fragrances. I just think it's a dull, boring fragrance. So I want a little more excitement, and you get it here with Pavillon Rouge, for sure. But still, it's not my all-time favorite fragrance from Jovoy. But I like this a lot more than the Jazz Club. But what it's all about, it's boozy, it's tobacco. I think this is key here for this fragrance. And ambery and woody and spicy. It's smelling much better, but I mean, it's a boozy fragrance. If you like boozy, you should try this. There might even be some fruits in this, because as I was saying, the Musk Pallas has a kind of a reminder of this fragrance, but in a faint way, not like a complete, like a total reminder. And as I was saying, it's the fruit in Musk Pallas that's kind of reminding me of this. So that's why I don't think it's the same perfumer, because obviously this is created by Marie Schnirer and Musk Pallas is Vanina Muracciole. So let me know your thoughts on Pavillon Rouge. Do you get the connection to Jazz Club by Maison Margiela? Do you like this one over Jazz Club? Are you upset at me that I don't like Jazz Club? I just think it's a boring fragrance. I don't know why. I mean, I prefer By the Fireplace. That is substantial, but Jazz Club seems just quite dull and boring. Anyway, so that is Pavillon Rouge. Now we're going to get to the first Cécile Zarokian fragrance I'm talking about today. We discussed this yesterday in the Cécile Zarokian video. This is private label. I find this to be extremely masculine, and I actually really, really love it. Go catch that video if you haven't caught that video yet. I painted a picture for you guys about this fragrance. Cigar man with a turtleneck and a bar, dark, cigar smoking, whiskey sipping. This is lots of vetiver. I believe there's papyrus here or cypriol. There's patchouli. There's spices. It's a really butch fragrance. There might be some light citruses in here as well. But I guess it might kind of be similar to Incident Diplomatique. This goes smoky and the Incident Diplomatique doesn't. And I think it's the smokiness in here that gives me a reminder of, the cigar smoking. And the fact that it goes boozy, it's the usage of the papyrus or cypriol with the patchouli. But it's a dark, kind of very smoky booze, like whiskey. That's what I get with this one. But it's in a dark kind of a bar, or like a private club or something in some old library. And you're allowed to smoke in there and sip on whiskey. Anyway, that's the picture I see with the private label. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. All right, so we have 5 more fragrances. And then the next fragrance is Psychedelique. It's my favorite fragrance from the house. I absolutely love it. Really, really great fragrance. I'm going to give you a ranking at the end of this video, so you leave satisfied. I'll let you know. But just giving you a clue, Psychedelique is going to be number 1. We actually featured Psychedelique in our 3rd ScentClub kit. It was the 3rd ScentClub kit before we changed the design to this design. It was the previous, more vintage-looking packaging that we had. Man, I love the way this smells. So this is patchouli, really, really awesome patchouli, but it's chocolate cakey and boozy as well. Now, they're not putting chocolate in here. It's giving you a chocolate effect, you know? The patchouli contrasted with resins, amber notes, vanilla, mixed together gives you like a boozy chocolate cake effect. It's so delicious, you want to eat it up. It's so good. So, so good. It's super, super delicious. One of the best patchouli fragrances, hands down. And I guess I would say it does remind me of Reminiscence patchouli. It's a similar idea, not identical. But this smells like if patchouli was something we could consume, I would consume it because I just love the way it smells. And I hear that you can chew on the leaves. It's part of the mint family. But, you know, obviously I'm not going to drink this, but I wish they made a liqueur made out of patchouli and it smelled like this because it's just super intoxicating. I love this. Let me know if you've discovered Psychedelique through my channel and if you're a fan of it or not. Let me know if you're a fan of patchouli. Patchouli is an amazing note. And don't forget, we've got a wonderful patchouli here as well from Juicebox called 54. That is also totally different though. Completely different. The Psychedelique patchouli seems a bit more simplistic even though it's complex. Whereas the Juicebox, not super dense, but seems like there's more happening there. There's vanilla there that's pretty prominent. There's the rum note, the pina colada, the chocolate. There's no chocolate in Psychedelique. There's chocolate in 54. They're so different though. Yeah, let me know if you're a fan of Psychedelique. It's definitely one of the best patchouli fragrances. All right, next we've got Remember Me. So this was like definitely three of my top 5 fragrances back to back. Private label, Psychedelique, Remember Me. Remember Me is also Cécile Zarokian. Did I say who Psychedelique is? By Jacques Fiori. Jacques Fiori has done several fragrances for Jovoy. I'm not too familiar with him, but he's done some great fragrances. Also, La Liturgie des Heures is by him. So yeah, really great. So Remember Me is that chai latte experience. Lots of cardamom and ginger here, so it's super spicy. Also creamy, milky, and it's lots of tea. Very cozy. I was reading the comments yesterday for the Cécile Zarokian video, and a lot of people love this as one of their, cozy fragrances. And it's that. It's definitely something really great. And I was mentioning in the video for Cécile Zarokian that she does love to use cardamom and also ginger. And it's used quite a bit in Ani and Ani and Ani X. So she does good with work with it. And Remember Me is just awesome tea fragrance. Really, really wonderful. But you've got to like lactonic, milky fragrances, and this is a lot of lactonic touches with the tea, and also a lot of spices. Actually, I had tea earlier before this. I actually decided to switch from coffee to tea, and it was a chai tea with I put half and half in it. So it's kind of reminding me of that fragrance for some reason. But let's move on to this next one called Rose Millésime. This is it. Rose Millésime is also created by Vanina Muracciole. Let me know if you're familiar with this. Rose Millésime means rose. It's to me, this is a simplistic rose fragrance, but it's super gorgeous. Super spicy, kind of stemmy. There's some greenness in there. It might come off a bit simplistic. As I was mentioning earlier, 54 seems complex, even though not super dense. Psychedelique, not as complex as 54, but comes off deeper. This, to me, is even further not complex. It's just, it's mostly about the rose, some spices, and some light green touches in there. Maybe there's some woods way in the back. Maybe some light amber. But the rose is in your face, but it's not been touched too much, you know? You're picking up the spices for sure. It is lightly green, but it's a jammy, super jammy rose. Anyway, that's Rose Millésime. I wish I had some of the fragrances in the red bottles to show you. Those have been long discontinued. I didn't get into them. I don't think they were that popular. Hence, that's probably why they got discontinued. So I've got 2 fragrances left. We've got one called Rouge Assassin. I think Rouge Assassin might be referring to red lipstick. This is super makeup-y and powdery. This is created by Amélie Bourgeois. Yeah, you've got the makeup-y touches. I think it's iris. Once again, I can see the DNA of Amélie Bourgeois fragrances. I can see the idea of makeup. I think this one actually is going to need skin for it to come alive. But for sure, it's super powdery. And I get the makeup touches for sure. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rouge Assassin. Let me know. Add a comment below. Okay, last fragrance, also created by Vanina Muracciole. This is Touche Finale. And this one is a mimosa-focused fragrance. Is it Touche Finale? Touche? Yeah, these last 2, or the last 3 fragrances are not very well known or hyped. But this is a bit louder than the Rouge Assassin, and in your face mimosa flower. Super powdery. Mimosa is a yellow flower. It has light almondy powdery effect, very light almondy. In fact, mimosa versus heliotrope. Heliotrope smells a bit more almondy in comparison to mimosa. Both of them are very powdery. But you have a very, very light, faint almondy effect with the powdery touches that the mimosa provides. But also from mimosa, I get light honey touches. And also it comes off a bit green because it does bloom in the spring, like pre-spring, I think, like February. I actually have started enjoying these not so popular floral notes. And I enjoy mimosa much more than tuberose. But this is gorgeous. Great fragrance, feminine leaning, but great fragrance to, but definitely great fragrance to, you know, end the video with. So that is Touche or Touche Finale. So let me know if you've sampled any of these fragrances. Which are your favorites? Let's do the ranking. So I'm gonna give you guys. You want a top 10 or do you want a top 5? Okay, let's see. Psychedelique. We've got Remember Me, Incident Diplomatique, Private Label. I'm going to give you guys a top 10. How's that? One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7. I'm not going to pick L'Enfant Terrible because... yeah, I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. Okay, I've got it. Okay, so I'm going to do a bonus. So, Touche Finale at number 11, Touche Finale. So, we've got Pavillon Rouge at number 10. L'Arbre de la Connaissance at number 9. Musc Pallas at number 8. 21 Conduit Street at number 7. Fire at Will at number 6. La Liturgie des Heures at number 5. This is the top 5 now. Private Label at number 4. Remember Me at number 3. Incident Diplomatique at number 4. I'm sorry, what am I saying? Number 2. And Psychedelique at number 1. Of course, Psychedelique is so good. I've featured it in the ScentClub Kit, as I said. So I guess Aqua Memorabilis would go after... wait, I think I showed you guys the wrong fragrance. Did I? No. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so Touche Finale is at Touche Finale is at number 11. I guess Aqua Memorabilis would go at number 12. Ambre Premiere at number 13. L'Enfant Terrible at number 14. Halong Bay at number 15. I can't do the rest of them though. So let me know your thoughts on these fragrances and what do you think of the ranking. And also, when did you discover Jovoy and what are your favorite fragrances? Do add a comment below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. Yesterday's video for Cecile Zarokian, I asked you guys to let me know what brands and perfumers and or styles, notes you want to see deep dive videos on. I'm asking you again. I'm actually going to be going to New York City very soon, so I'm going to bank some videos before I go. Another trip, but this time it's not too far, and I'm gone for like 4 days, so I'll be back very fast. But yeah, let me know what deep dive videos you want to see. It's a weird thing, and my editor is also going on trip, so there's going to be more deep dive type videos, unedited, more than edited videos. But yeah, let me know what you'd like to see, and any brands, perfumers, and if there's something missing on the channel, if there's a brand I haven't spoken about that you've discovered, do let me know what it is. I plan on doing a video on Notes Shanghai, by the way, the show I attended in China. Stay tuned for that. I hope to have that shot before I leave to New York. And I'll kind of go over my experience in Shanghai, Notes Shanghai. A really great show, by the way. Yeah, thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button and also the bell icon so you'll be notified for future videos. And please don't forget to give a thumbs up for this video. And once again, ScentClub Kits are out. Get them before they run out. And see you guys later. Bye-bye.